In honor of Rocky Horror Picture Show's 40th anniversary, I have compiled several Rocky Horror Picture Show makeup tutorials to show you guys how to get all of these looks.
I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Alright, so let's get started. First thing we want to do is prep the skin, so I'm going to use a bit of primer to make sure that everything stays on, and it kind of helps create a barrier between the skin and the makeup, so that it kind of goes on as smooth as possible. And next we are going to prime our eyes, so I'm going to do that. So I'm also going to be using a MAC product for the eyeshadow. It's actually the Rocky Horror Picture Show Riff Raff palette from MAC. I'm staying true to colors that were made in tribute to the movie. And I feel like they really stayed true to the colors that we're going to be using. So basically we're going to be using the black and the silver. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Furter's makeup is pretty dark and very dramatic. I love it. So I'm going to use a little brush as a way to apply the darker colors. I probably might use it for the majority of the eye though, and then blend with another brush. Furter's eye makeup is also, well, his eyebrows are going to be a little bit higher up than his natural brow, so we want to stay true to that and do that. So I'm going to actually bring up my eyeshadow all the way above my eyebrow. So what I've noticed is the black seems to stop about the point where you would get your crease here, where you see how the skin folds a little bit. I'm going to stop the black there, but try to get it as black as possible and to fill it in as dark as possible. Now he actually has a bit of a cat eye, which is fantastic. So I'm going to get another brush as like a guide for me. This is like my cheat sheet for doing a cat eye. So you pretty much can hold this as your guide. So it is rather dramatic, but that's obviously what it's meant to be. In order for men to look at least a bit feminine, they have to really put on a lot of makeup to kind of exaggerate more feminine features and hide the more masculine features. So after I create that wing, I'm just going to bring it up, blend it upward so that we still have that line here as like a guide, but at the same time it's still going to fade out this way. Okay, so we'll probably come back into the black later, but I'm going to go into the silver color, and I'm going to use my big fluffy eyeshadow brush into the silver color, and I'm going to place this everywhere else that I don't have color, pretty much. This is looking so good. I am ready. Okay, so you can already tell that the silver is not quite as pigmented as the black as far as being as solid. So I'm going to go back in the black with the same brush, and I'm just going to help bring that black up even higher into the rest of the eye. What I'm probably going to do as a way to create the lines here is I'm going to use some sort of card. So I actually got this card from Embellish, and it has RuPaul Drag Race contestant Ginger Minj on it. And I'm just going to use the card to try and create a straight line. I can't even do it that way. Yeah, I gotta, yep, okay. Where my eyeshadow go? It's right there. So I'm going to go back in with my smaller brush because it's going to be more precise. And I'm going to use the card. It's a way to kind of contour the nose too, so that it appears to be thinner. Wow, that actually worked. That was like really. So now that we have these black lines, we're going to go back in with black with a bigger brush and then really try to fill it in as much as possible. Now this is where the eyebrow is going to be, like right above this, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect, but get it as perfect as you can before we do that. Now they really just follow the natural contour of his eyebrow, but his eyebrow is a different shape than mine, so I'm going to bring out the eyeshadow on the sides here just a little bit to change my brow shape a little bit. So alright, so let me go back in with this silver and really try and add it in there. Just make sure you use a silver that you really like. So I'm actually going to follow this contour that we made down the nose with the silver. Just a wee bit. Fantastic! So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some black liner. I'm going to use some gel because gel is just matte and perfect and amazing, but liquid works too. I wouldn't use pencil because he does have a winged eye. It's a slight wing. Alright. Oh, alright. I think I might use the same gel for the eyebrow as well. So the top of his brow is very angular, or the front I mean, not the top, the front. So I'm gonna create some lines here. And then it slopes up like a regular brow and then comes down, so. And you have to be careful because it's a really thin brow, despite it's very geometric style. I'm taking this brush and I'm going to smooth out the product because some gel looks kind of built up, and I want to make sure it's nice and smoothed out and not like lumpy and all that. So, and plus filling it in with powder makes it more bolder anyway, and it sets it, makes it more matte, blah blah blah. I'm going to take a concealer and I'm going to clean up the brow a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to be using a really thick foundation. It's from Kat Von D. It's the Lock It foundation, and I'm going to put a pump and a half. Normally, you know, you would put a pump because you don't want it to look overly done, but Furter is overly done. And it's going to help fix our eyebrows up there, so I can make sure I get the proper shape. Because I will not stop until I get the perfect shape. I can promise you that. Now you can tell by his face that his face is lighter than his body, but that's because of all the highlighting and contouring that he has on his face. So this may look like it matches me, because it does, but I'm going to be lightening a lot of areas. But my wig cap, so it doesn't get as much makeup on it. I'll be back once I get these brows fixed, okay? Okay, so I'm back. It's still a little messy, but I figured once I get contoured and set all the powders, then I can go back in and really layer that. So, like I said, he has a lot of contouring going on, so I'm going to go right in with a white powder, and I'm going to set the essential areas, especially around the cheekbone. He has a very prominent highlight right on there. And then, of course, he has it right around his eyebrows here. And his chin. And then, of course, his Cupid's bow. Contouring's actually been around for a long time, but it just didn't become incredibly mainstream until recently, so there's that. I also have other contours that I want to do. And like I said, I'm going to go back over the brows once all the contouring is finished, so it won't be that big of a deal. So his contours are actually warm. They're not like magentas at all. So I'm just going to use some regular contour palettes. It is the Nars one. It's 2 shades, so I have a highlight shade and then I have a contour shade. We have highlights already, but I'm going to go ahead and try and like highlight a little more around the areas. It'll mix really nicely with the white that I had put on my face earlier. So now to contour. I usually use the side of the brush as a way to create an edge, and then I come in and create that contour. I'm going to contour my temples. I really actually do feel like a drag queen right now, oh my god. And I'm really going to bring the attention away from my forehead. Okay, so it's a really intense contour, but it works because that's exactly who he is, you know. He overdoes it because he has to look incredibly feminine. Okay, so I'm going to grab my liquid liner, and again I'm going to go back in and really fix these. So I'm going to stop talking now so I can get it perfect. I probably should have done it liquid from the beginning, but that was my fault. Okay, and then as just a last precaution, because I still have a little bit of visible mess up on this top part, I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on this part to cover that even more. So, where'd my concealer go? Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay. Alright, so that's probably the best I can do right now. Blah. So I'm going to contour my nose just a little bit, and because they do that in the movie. You can definitely tell. So we're going to make it like a swordfish. Okay, so we have our shape slightly. Let me get it a little bit thinner up here. And now I'm going to blend this downward so the nose looks super, super thin. And then just take whatever's left and just blend out that line so you don't have like a serious line on your nose here. I'm going to do a little bit of a button nose at the top, so do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a plum color first on the lip, and then I'm going to go back over with a red, and then we're going to have a little bit of gloss, because he wears like gloss or like shiny. Well, it depends on what part of the movie, but towards the beginning he does have shiny lips. So let's get the show on the road. Okay, so it's coming together now. Let that dry for just a second, and then I'll put the red over. And a little glossy glossy. Okay, so I've applied the red, and I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Of course, right now it's shiny because I have, it's a lip stain, so it goes on liquid wet first. But so now this is just a clear gloss. This has no color, and so that way it won't interfere with the colors that we already have on. So last but not least, we're just going to put on a little bit of mascara. Nothing too crazy because, I don't know, he doesn't need that much mascara. So I think the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in my waterline with some black eyeliner. So that's going to help kind of frame the eyes in a little bit more. Sorry, I was sharpening it. Okay, here we go. Okay, well that is my Frankenfurter makeup, but I have one thing left to add. So here you go, guys. I hope you enjoy my Frankenfurter makeup. I hope you find it authentic. I hope you found it easy to do. And keep watching my Rocky Horror videos in tribute to 40 years. Yay! Thanks for watching. Bye.